Well, it's time to finish what has been a difficult season off the pitch with Bayern Munich, but on it, it could yet be a resounding success. As you would expect, after our win against Leverkusen in the last episode, the title is now wrapped up. We return for a party on the final day at home to Union Berlin, but then we face Bayer Leverkusen again, this time in a German Cup final. And the problem we've had in the last few weeks is we're still picking up big injuries. Yes, hello and welcome along to part 89 of the Head Coach with me, Daniel. We are back today for a big one with Bayern Munich. Not the first game against Union where we can have a little bit of a party, but against Leverkusen in the German Cup final as we look to make it a domestic double in a season where for the most part we've had 12 or 13 senior players to choose from. Would be an incredible effort if we can pull it off. There are a few players just starting to go down injured. And with the game coming up in the Bundesliga, the last thing we need is any more. If you're looking forward to finding out if we can avoid them, then please do put a thumbs up on the video. We've got some big decisions to make as we go into this final one of the season. And at the end of the episode, once we're done, we'll make our plan for the next few episodes of this save and what we're going to do moving forward. But for now, let's go and have a quick look at the schedule and what's been going on since you were with me. You were here as we won at Leverkusen and squeaked past Frankfurt in the German Cup semi. Since then, we've played 3 poor teams and we've beat them. 4-1 at home to Stuttgart thanks to a Hervenhoff hat-trick and a goal from Dylan Sanchez. We were 2 up in 10 minutes in that one. 2-0 away at Dusseldorf as Hervenhoff's goal was added to by a late one from Justin Kollner, who has not popped up this season with much. In fact, it was actually his first league appearance for the club and he delivered in style when he came on. Against Kaiserslautern, we won 5-0. They're down at the bottom for a reason. Florian Wirtz scored, but also picked up a knock while scoring that goal. That made it 3 after 15 minutes, but I would rather he had not scored it. Hervenhoff, Sanchez, DL and Marquinhos with 1 apiece. But if we go to the medical centre now, we're still having problems with Lewis Skelly. Coming back from injury, he's picked up knocks every other week. This time, he's made more susceptible to food poisoning. I mean, who knew that muscle injuries could do that? We've also got Alphonso Davies out for the final. Wirtz and Pino are running against time. And Rodrigo Ribeiro, we know, is still out long term and will even miss the start of next season. So we could be 5 senior players down for the final, 4 almost certain to be. And that leaves us with 9 or 10 senior pros. Not ideal as we go into the big game. If we add to that as well, that today will be the first time Paul Vanna has featured since he got injured a couple of episodes ago. Recommended for 45 minutes. I haven't yet decided whether he's going to do that from the start or off the bench. I don't want any risk of him being injured next time. But we are a little bit light. We've got Helsing playing left back, which is fine against poorer opposition. But can we do that in a German Cup final? If not, who on earth do we play back there? There's decisions to be made. And of course, if we pick up any more injuries today, it could get even more difficult to pick a team next week. So let's get through to the fixtures and play the first game because the dynamics are all excellent again, despite a couple of centre-halves being unhappy. Let's see who is recommended to be put out and then instead what we're able to do. I'm going to go for definitely Justin DL coming in as the number 10 and in holding midfield. I think what I might do is bring Altrock in and put Korsavich into midfield, which we've done a couple of times with relative success. As a result of that, we will put Vanna back on the bench. Lewis Skelly is not going to be risked, so we will find someone else we can bring on because there's no point risking him for the final. If he's not fully fit, at least we've got an option off the bench, or him and Vanna could even do half each. So let's just hope we can keep them both available. Who can go on the bench today, please? Is there anyone, even a candidate in the squad? Mori Torre is improving a bit. I mean, it's really not great, is it? It's slim pickings, I think you would say. Ivkovic is a decent young player too. I'm going to go for Mori Torre, I think. He'll go on there as another midfield option. But we've got no strikers, no defenders, bar Nauer. It is just a sea of midfielders there. It's becoming very difficult to pick a team. What about Peter Jarabek? No, probably not on this occasion. So this is our 11 for today. I think there are no senior players on the bench, am I right? Just Paul Vanna, who's returning from injury for 45 minutes. The rest of the team, though, is as follows. Trubin in goal. Helson and Fernandes the fullbacks, with De Ligt joined by Altrock as centre-half. Korsavich pushes into midfield alongside Sabaya. DL comes in at number 10 ahead of them. And then it's Marquinhos and Sanchez off Hervenhov up front, as the only remit for today is avoid defeat and avoid injuries. That is all I want from this match. Don't care if you draw 0-0 as long as no one gets a knock. Any familiar names in this Union Berlin side? Not immediately drawn to any superstars. So let's go through to the first half of this match and pick up where we left off last time. A comfortable win last time out. Let's hope we can do the same here. Well, 15 minutes on the clock and we're back with the ball in midfield for Justin DL, who finds De Ligt. It seems to have been a quiet start. Most of the recent games we've been a couple of goals up at this point, as DL goes into a 50-50. No injury, please. Fernandes into Marquinhos. I was about to say he's offside, but the right back was miles behind. I think he's played him on. A Bega it was. Let's just have a look at this with VAR. It looked like when he came into shot, he was so far behind, he couldn't have got there if he didn't start deep, and he did. 1-0 to Bayern Munich, and with 20 gone, we're ahead again. Got to make a big decision at left back next week. Do I go for Helson there? Do I bring in young Rafa Noah? Do I maybe go for something completely different? I really don't know. Alphonso Davies isn't going to make it. Altus, who was the star first half of the year, loaned out. Markovic loaned out. It doesn't leave us in the greatest of shape, but we're doing the job at the minute. We're still finding a way to win. And touch wood, as we approach half-time, there are no injuries just yet. Bit worried about Fernandes, who's not been playing great recently. He could move to the left as well. We could play McKendy right back. There are a few possibilities, as De Ligt brings the ball into midfield. Of course, if Vanna and Miles Skelly were fully fit, we could have played one of them left back, but not to be, as De Ligt carries the ball forward again. Time and space to run into. Plays down the line towards Marquinhos, who cuts him from the right. Back to his skipper again. Inside to Altrock, who's got time on the ball. Still chasing that big money new deal that he's not going to get. Zabaya goes wide to Sanchez. Back to Helson. Weird seeing them both in together, but it's working against these poorer sides. As Sanchez has 3 in the middle. Hervenhov 1. Back to DL. Deflects through to Marquinhos. And the referee's hand goes up again. Will offside be given? We wait for the VAR check. 2-0 at half-time would be lovely. Would just allow us to rest anyone we need. And 2-0 at half-time it is. The goal is awarded into 2 minutes of stoppage time. And could it yet get even better? Because Fernandes on the right finds DL. He's got space to run into, but goes back to Korsavich. Now De Ligt. Korsavich again. Loads of options in front. Goes over the right-hand side for Marquinhos. Hervenhov's in the middle. Might have been offside if it got to him, but it's back out to Helson and Sabaya. Finds Korsavich. Chance to shoot. Doesn't often get that far forward. But in his midfield role, he's doing a job. And he almost gets the goal. It's headed away for a throw into Bayern. And at half-time, we are very happy with where we are. 2-0. We'll think about resting people soon. But let's go and put in a worthy display. Well, we're back less than a minute into the half as Sabaya is playing out from the back to Sanchez, who's cut in from that left-hand side. 3-on-3 at the back. I've no idea where the Union defence is. Are they resting people for the playoff, or are they just got a really poor tactical shape? I don't know. We've got a corner kick from it, and DL will take. There's plenty of options in the middle if he can find them. Justin DL to the back post. De Ligt is up. Hits the bottom of the post. Very unfortunate there, it's got to be said. We've got another one just 2 minutes later. DL in again. This time front post. Korsavich heads over. The only benefit of him coming into midfield is we've now got 3 big centre-halves. I mean, look at Union. They've not had a shot. They've not pushed forward. They've really dropped in this save. But we're not minding at the moment as DL breaks forward to Marquinhos. Can we get one more and start resting people? Sanchez tries to get on the rebound there. It was a good save from the initial Hervenhov shot. But up towards the hour mark, I'm looking at those starting to tire. Fernandes, Korsavich, Sabaya. I don't want to take risks as Marquinhos goes back to Fernandes. Marquinhos again. Sanchez up. He's hit the post as well. What on earth's going on here? We're missing chances galore. And the woodwork's doing a lot of work for them. It's into the front post. They almost get one from a corner. Time to wake up, boys. McKendy will replace Thiago Fernandes at right back. We're going to take out Dylan Sanchez. Helson will push forward and Nauer will go left back. We're going to take Sabaya off for Vanna. We're going to bring off... Korsavich is one I want to target as well. He's going to be replaced by one of the midfielders. Probably going to be Hornshoe, if I'm honest. as he can then push into that midfield role like such. We've done that a fair few times at home to poorer teams. And then Marquinhos is possibly the other one we take off. Or do I save one more sub for now in case of injury? Probably do that. And then Marquinhos off in 10 minutes if there's no more. I've got to give him a chance to get his hat-trick, I suppose, as we play out from the back with Trub into De Ligt. McKendy, the right winger, covering at right back again. Story of the season. Square pegs in round holes. De Ligt plays into midfield, does he? No. Turns wide to the left. Ultrock's there. Now is out at left back if he can find him. And he does. Again, 3 young players from the youth team into the squad today. And DL can't do anything with that. It's cleared away by Di Benedetto. Options on the left, but goes back to Curcio. Union keeping the ball a bit better now, buoyed by their first shot of the match. And we could do with waking up a little bit as Marquinhos nicks it. Inside to Vanna. Support ahead of him. DL's there. Poor defending. DL's in. Makes it 3. Marquinhos is coming off. He's played well today. Heidenfelder's a decent sub. With 25 to go. Even if we end up going down to 10 now, I'd be happy. I'm just worried about Vanna, who's come off the bench, but he's got an assist already here. Just want to keep people fit. It's the only motivation for the rest of the day. As Vanna's corner's headed away. Heidenfelder, the latest sub, will get there. He's got a chance to charge down the left here. Oh, he's beating his man with ease. Redmond brings him down. Not sure it's a penalty. I think the foul was outside. But it's stunning pace and great footwork. Some of these youngsters showing the real benefits of playing top-tier football when not good enough. There you go. Free kick outside the box. Referee should have trusted my vision. As De Ligt picks up a booking, just noticed our expected goals has crept up to 4.5 now. We've had more chances than we've taken. And that's an own goal, I think. Hervenhoff put his swinger at it. It went across the 6-yard box. And it hit, I think, Berkman on the way in. 4-0 Bayern. Thoroughly deserved. Union Berlin have offered nothing. It's the perfect warm-up for the final so far. We've still got to avoid those injuries as Vanna chips in. De Ligt down to Ultrock. Off the woodwork again. Offside this time. I was about to say the second one wasn't off, so it was De Ligt who was adjudged to be. As DL puts the corner in again, headed away by Berkman. DL picks it up on the left. Inside to Hornschuh. Finds Heidenfelder. Back to De Ligt. Runs into the space down the right. The old boy's still got some legs in him. Finds McKendy. Probably a better candidate to run down the wing. DL finds Vanna. On the edge of the box, looking for the pass. Goes back to Ultrock. I mean, it's cruise control. We're in second gear. We're playing comfortably. And even these youngsters are having a field day. Raffinauer in. Good delivery. Had some whip on it. It's gone through to Heidenfelder. Into Hervenhoff. Heidenfelder again. Penalty kick. Awful tackle. Just really clumsy. Really poor. Bit desperate, to be honest. Will Hervenhoff be on it? Who's the top penalty taker? And who's going to have the chance to make it 5? It is DL's on it. He is the best penalty taker on the pitch. Can he make it 5-0? Steps up confidently. Smashes it down the middle. 5-0. The dream warm-up for the German Cup final. We've got 5 minutes if we avoid injury. I'll then say it. This day wouldn't have been able to have gone better. We're into stoppage time. Only 2 minutes added. A 5-0 win to wrap up a Bundesliga winning season. Ultimately, we've completed our main objective. We joined this club after they relinquished the title, and we've given them it back in awful circumstances. So let's go and see if we can make it a domestic double. Have we avoided any injuries? Let me just double check. I mean, there's a week of training for it to go wrong yet. McKendy, the latest, set for a big pay rise. Up to 66 grand a week. You're not that good, man. Some of these wages are scandalous, honestly. 92 million for winning the Bundesliga. And I'm sure it still won't get spent in the summer. Sanchez possibly on the move to Newcastle. But none of that matters for now. Next Saturday is Bayer Leverkusen at the Olympia Stadion. We'll be back in a minute to play it and see if we can make it a double. Well, my end of season plans might have changed slightly because I completely forgot that it's a Club World Championship summer. And it didn't occur to me that Bayern might be in it. So we might yet have one more tournament and one last hurrah at this club in the summer. And this is one that hopefully all of the transfer stuff won't be able to get in the way of. Albeit a few could be sold mid-tournament, I guess. Let's skip the draw but see who we're drawn with. Which could be pretty interesting if we can avoid some of the big boys. And maybe make it through to the latter stages. We have got Porto. I take that as a European option. Then representatives from Mexico and Brazil of 2 of the Americas. I mean, that's not too bad, is it? Bayern Munich are facing Porto first. We're going to be all right there, aren't we? When does that start? It starts, at the start of June. So we've got a big extension to our season. We'll be coming back for that after this one, won't we? Let's get through to the German Cup final. Touch wood, with 3 days to go. Say it quietly. We've got no injuries so far this week. Well, big news as we make it to the final. No further injuries. Florian Wirtz fit but not recommended to be selected. I will throw him on the bench though, because why not? Vanna 45 minutes, Skelly 75. We've got 2 options in there as well. Still a big decision to make at left back. We've got to be careful now with another tournament in 2 weeks as well. And we all remember how last season finished at Marseille. Played a club that we'd recently beat in a league and it all went wrong in a cup final. Let's hope we can avoid that today. Bayern v Leverkusen, let's see how we get on. We know the players that are going to be stars for them. We've played them very recently. Terracchiano on the right was their biggest threat, which makes me even more worried about playing Helson at left back as someone who has got great qualities going forward but is not the best at the back. What are the other options though? Alphonso Davies is not quite fit, not even ready for a fitness test. Florian Wirtz, I think we can chuck on the bench. Pino, I'm not so sure about, not with sprained knee ligaments. What was the Wirtz injury? Pulled knee ligaments, but he's a lot closer. So Skelly is going to start instead of Ultrock. Korsavich back into defence, the midfield duo together. On the bench, we're going to go for Ultrock instead of Torre, one of the many midfielders. We're also going to take out, I think, Kolner for Wirtz. Vanna was the star player of the second half of the year since returning from his loan till his injury a month ago. But with only 45 minutes possible, I've probably got to save him for about the hour mark. And then he is, I think, a pretty decent penalty taker, isn't he? Yeah, 11. So that might be the way we have to do it. Lewis Skelly, not so good from the spot. Makes more sense to do it that way round. I think I'm going to have to stick with Helson at left back. The only other option is Rafa Nauer. But he's not quick. He's not great. And he's someone who, if we need to see out the game, could maybe come off the bench. I'm going to stick with Helson. Let's go for attack is the best form of defence. Almost the same team that played in last week's game against Union Berlin. The only difference is we've got one senior player back. Miles Lewis Skelly will start. Ultrock drops to the bench. And with him alongside Paul Vanna returning and maybe Florian Wirtz if desperate, there's a little bit more quality on the bench. Should I chuck Alphonso Davies on there as well? That's the question I'm asking myself at the minute. It might be a stupid thing to do, but he's out of contract at the end of June. In fact, that's next year, isn't it? Do I get him on there? I mean, we've got a lot of options, haven't we? Let's do it. Bullhoser off the bench for Alphonso Davies. Into the cup final we go with a half-fit bench. What could possibly go wrong? Well, as we go into this one, we know all the Leverkusen threats. The skipper is the original Tapsoba. Terracchiano, a right back, caused us problems last time. And in Hakawi, they've got a brilliant centre forward who I'm not sure played last time out. I'll probably be corrected on that. Stefan Minkwitz, our former youth star, is on the bench. He would have been, well, a candidate to start today, to be fair, with Florian Wirtz unavailable. I know it's been a really difficult season managing a tiny squad, but despite all the problems with the director of football, the players that have stayed here have been superstars, and I would love them to get their reward and turn up for the big day. A big opportunity here against Leverkusen to make it a double. With 6 minutes gone, they're playing out from the back. We know what they're going to do, and look at us pressing them. The box of 6 there trying to stop them. So Augusto's forced long. It beats everyone though. And now they're out over the top to Zanata. What's the right back doing? Fernandez plays him onside. Trubin to the rescue. You need your goalkeeper to have a good game in a cup final. And ours is already doing so. Corner kick for off. Will he need to save us again? Left-footed in swinger to the back post to Augusto. Korsavich back in defence and heading it away well. Hakawi forced wide. Will it come to anything on the rebounds? They've recycled it, but they've kept the ball. They're not going anywhere with it. Trubin the star so far. A slow start for Bayern Munich. Well, 20 minutes on the clock, and for the first time, we're seeing our side on the front foot with Fernandez to Zibaya. Great pass to Marquinhos. Has had to be patient this year because Pino had a great start. But in the second half of the season, he's come to the fore as Pino's form and his fitness has failed him. As Korsavich gets it wide to Helson. Of course, we could see a few of those stars back for the Club World Cup as Helson doubles up with his other winger, Sanchez, into the box to Hervenhoff, who completely misses it. But Justin Diel is there from 3 or 4 yards, glances it into the corner. The only outfield player our director of football has signed since we've been here. And he might score the winner in the German Cup final. God, that's going to make me look silly, isn't it? He's in for Florian Wirtz because of injury, and he's delivering on the biggest of stages. We're getting moaned at about where we're playing Helsen, but I've got no option. He's just going to have to do it. You can see from the stats, we have been the better side, but we know the threat that our visitors carry. I say visitors, we're at a neutral ground. You know what I mean. As Roth gets to the edge of the box, great effort. Trubin's there again. The boy is delivering at the biggest stage. We did so well early in the year without him. And now, with Aguata on the corner, we know the delivery's going to be good. To the back post, headed back into danger. Hakawi brings it down. Good block back to Roth. Deflects. Trubin reacts brilliantly. Oh, he might be stealing the show. Man of the match so far, surely. Because Trubin has made 3 outstanding saves. And for that reason alone, we are 1-0 up at the break. Let's keep proving a point. Let's keep doing our best. Are we going to need the big guns on? Helsen is struggling a bit at left back. You've seen their corners have largely come on that side. The problem is, if it's only 1-0, I can't really throw the likes of Davis and Wirtz on because we get injuries then. We're going to waste the rest of our subs and have a really tired team in extra time. As Fernandez has got the throw on the right to Marquinhos. Good return to him. Ball into DL. Good turn. Chance to shoot. Just wide of the post. It's a good effort, to be fair. But doesn't quite find the target. As we pick it up again with Miles Skelly. Only got another 10 minutes or so in him. Then Paul Vanna will have to come on. Helsen down the left, though. Might make it a bit unnecessary. Good ball in from Sanchez. DL shot tipped over. 2 keepers doing well here. And I'm fumbling my words as I get nervy. Apologies for the nonsense we're talking. DL into the front post. Headed away to Lewis Skelly. What a return this would be. Another good save. We just cannot get the game wrapped up. Neither keeper wants to be on the losing side. Justin DL with another chance with the in-swinger. Front post headed away. Terracchiano been very quiet so far. But he is up against 2 wingers in fairness. Nearly 70 on the clock. We're dominating the stats. But Trubin has still been a saviour at times. And now, with 75 gone, I'm going to have to do it. Miles Skelly will be replaced by Vanna. That one I'm not worried about. At left back, do I go for Rafa Nauer? Or do I go for a very fatigued Alphonso Davis? Sprained knee ligaments, they're probably going to get worse. But a top left back for 15 minutes wouldn't go amiss, would it? I'm going to bring Davis on. Big gamble in the cup final. Marquinhos, you are going to be replaced by McKendy because I don't feel I need to risk it there. And then in another 5 minutes, we'll make more changes. But I've got to bear in mind extra time as well and who's going to be fit for that. There are 10 minutes remaining. We're doing well. I'm looking at DL. I'm looking at Sibaya. How much longer are they going to last? I'm going to take DL off. He's going to be replaced by... I was tempted to push everyone back one and put Altrock in defence, but I don't want to mess with a back 4. So let's go. Florian Wirtz as well. I know he's fatigued, but still, we're talking about 5 minutes of a cup final. Just get on and use your experience. As Wirtz puts the cross in, up goes the header by Fernandez. I was going to say centre half. It wasn't. It was Fernandez up there for some reason. And we don't make it count. Ernst rolls out to Augusto. And this, with a few tired and injured players, is where it could go wrong. Have we got the pressing power still? Augusto forced back to Ernst. They go for the kick out again. If they get through this, they're going to be in. Larson goes back to his keeper. We're working hard. Hervenhoff, come on, put a shift in. You're supposed to be fit. Out to the right-hand side. Bayer Leverkusen getting in. They've got a striker through the middle in Zanata. Might need Trubin again here. Forced across the box. Minquist there. The Nielsen on the rebound in. And now my substitutions are possibly going to cost me. We were a minute away from time wasting. And now we're going to be taken to extra time. And I've got big decisions to make. I can make 2 more subs, but I think I'll only make 1 here. Because the chances of Davis and Wirtz making the final whistle are small. Sabaya's knackered in the middle. Korsavic at the back's not had a great game. Do I push him into midfield maybe? Takes Sabaya out. I'm trying to look at penalty takers here as well because Korsavic is actually a good one. We've got Nauer there. We've got Altrock, who's probably the best player left on the bench to come on. I think for now, you know, I might just leave it. And I know that's a risk, but we've got to try and push forward. I need Hervenhoff to have a moment. He's had a terrible game. He's not tired, but he's not delivering. as Wirtz is on the corner. Korsavic up, off the crossbar. Didn't have enough pace on it probably to beat the keeper, but it almost went all the way. We're 10 minutes into extra time. Do not let this go to penalties. Let us nick a win. Davis on the left on a yellow and knackered. Might have to come back off. He will if we go ahead as Wirtz is in. Oh, he's offside anyway. Oh, so close. Half time in extra time. Can I leave Alphonso Davies on any longer? Look at Sanchez on the left wing. I mean, it's all going wrong. Terracchiano has got the throw on the right. Am I going to be punished for going for quality over fitness? It's not something you should often do in this FM. If it was for 10 minutes, we'd have been all right. Minkvits is in. It was almost him. He's just offside. Right, Sanchez wants to be substituted. We don't get an extra one in extra time. So actually, we've not got the subs we think we have. Is there a great penalty taker on the bench? If not, we can just make the sub out and out. Right, we can. Davis is going to have to come off. I'm going to have to bring on Rafa now. Alphonso Davies can't finish this game. Let's confirm the sub. Let's get through the rest of it. There are still no substitutions remaining now. There are 8 minutes of extra time. We have pasted them in the game, but they're finishing the stronger because we're running out of steam. Terracchiano coming into it in extra time. Rafa now, not a match for him. Denilson cuts it back to the edge. Krug brings it forward. Now it's Smetzers on the edge of the box. Into Minkvits, off the bar again. He's offside again, but he's causing trouble. He knows where the weaknesses are in our defence. We're encouraging the lads. We've got 1 minute of stoppage time. And our season will finish with a penalty shootout. And given the fact that in 2 weeks we're going over to the Club World Cup, this could have a huge knock-on effect. The two best takers are both knackered out on their feet. Paul Vanna will be one. Sabaya will be one. I know Wirtz is nervous. I mean, Trubin's our 5th best. Maybe I've got to put Trubin in. He's got the composure. And he's not got the nerves. Fernandez will go in there as well. The Ligt will go up there. In fact, the Ligt is better in terms of professional attitude and his composure. Then we're at the bottom. We're with anxious people. Hervenhov, McKendy, and Rafanauer is the emergency. Relax, pick your spot. Don't change your mind. It's a young side. And this is how it's going to be settled. Tapsoba, the skipper, the centre-half first up. Trubin's going to be taken one, but for now, he's got to be the hero in goal, and he's gone the wrong way for the first spot kick. Dylan Sanchez, our star player, has been begging to come off for the last 20. No brilliant takers in our team, but it's in the back of the net, and any penalty that goes in is a good penalty at this point. Minkwitz, who was here until deadline day in January, sold on the cheap bar director of football. Come on, Trubin, you know him well. Oh, he almost got there. Should have saved it. But Leverkusen score, and as a result, it's a good penalty. Korsavic steps up next. Our centre-half saved. Keeper down to his right, did well. It had power on it, but it was a bit telegraphed. And now it looks like it might finish with a bit of a whimper this season. It can't strike twice, can it? Denilson's penalty in. 2 years in a row, we're going to finish by losing a cup final. Not what we wanted. Paul Vanna, back to fitness today. No match sharpness in him, but takes a composed penalty. Trubin, we're going to need 2 moments of magic from you. You've got to save one, and then you've got to score one. Smetzer steps up. Trubin in goal. Goes the wrong way again. He's not a great penalty saver at the minute, is he? He saved a couple during the season. He's guessed wrong every time here. Sabaya now must score to keep us in it. And then it's down to the double Trubin. It's going to have to go very wrong for Leverkusen to not win it from here. The best we can hope for is sudden death. Sabaya into the corner. Now, Trubin, you must save and then you must score. Please produce a moment of magic. It is last chance saloon against who? Who's coming forward for Leverkusen? Zanata versus Trubin, who has been so good in this final. But he now must stop this penalty. Zanata steps up. In it goes. Leverkusen get revenge. For the 2nd year in a row, I've lost the domestic cup final. One with Marseille last year and one with Leverkusen this time around. One with Bayern Munich, against Leverkusen. We finished with just 1 trophy rather than 2. And those injuries and the decisions we made, they just racked up against us, didn't they? Now though, we have got a Club World Cup to look forward to, which I didn't expect to have. But once that's finished, we're going to do the 10-year bookmark because yes, it's only been 10 seasons since we started in Japan, the most remarkable rise we've ever had in this save. Then we're going to go through the summer transfer window and do the usual summer special at the start of next season, just because I want to see if this glitch resolves itself. And if it doesn't, if there's still nothing going on in terms of ins, then obviously we have to call the save to a halt because it will just be ruined. If we have a normal summer, players start to come in, we'll crack on as normal with next season. But I don't think that's going to happen, particularly based on what we've seen in the 2 windows here so far. Then what we're going to do, if we do have to finish the save, is a little bit of a 2-part Sunday experiment from this database. We're going to do one where we stay with Bayern Munich for a few years and see if there's any transfer activity. And then one where we resign from Bayern and see what happens after we leave in the same 5-year period. We might also do a third string to that where we join another club and see if they're affected in the same way as Bayern or if it's just one club that's been affected by this curse. So that's a little experiment coming up over a few Sundays once this save is finished. But who knows, the issue might resolve itself this summer and we can crack on with trying to get revenge in a German Cup and competing in the Champions League. I'm not that hopeful we will. Once that's all done and out the way, don't forget we will be starting the alternate head coach save where we left Japan at about the 4 or 5 year mark in this save. We had 2 options. We took the realistic one in our opinion, but there was another one that tempted me, Willem 2 in the Netherlands. So we'll go back to that point, we'll take the Willem 2 job and we'll do a save where we don't worry about the realistic option. We worry about taking the jobs that we would have wanted to and the ones that we find the most interesting. So loads to come alongside the Southend save, but most importantly, the Club World Cup is up next. We'll be back in a couple of days' time to get started with that. Redemption needed after the German Cup final. If you enjoyed it, heartbreak in the end, please do put a thumbs up on it. If you want to stay up to date with everything I've just mentioned, subscribe and turn that notification bell on. We'll be back here in a couple of days' time as we move on to the next competition. But between now and then, we're back with a big one from Southend United tomorrow. There's plenty more action to come from that save for a number of years yet. We've also got links in the eye above to the Twitch channel, the football podcast, loads of stuff over there in an action-packed finish to the real football in season. And of course, we've also got our guides up in the eye above, including the one on youth development. But thank you very much for joining me and watching Cup Heartbreak for the 2nd year in a row. We'll be back to try and make amends in the Club World Cup before seeing what on earth happens in this summer transfer window at Bayern.